This is an open letter to our brother Elon Musk. Uh, Dude, I know you're you're busy and you're short on time. So here's the gist of it. You need to have a consultant who has very who is who has a very high aptitude, emotional aptitude regarding emotions of people. Me and you and a lot of us are not that we our emotional aptitude is not where it should be. Emotional aptitude, the whole idea of empathy and sympathy and all of that, a lot of people are not endowed in that. So you therefore we love you, we want you to, what we want to see you your old age, we want you to continue working as you're doing. Thank you very much on behalf of everybody, but therefore because we want you, around into your old age, you need to uh, get a assistant, someone to converse with on daily basis, someone with high emotional intelligence, emotional aptitude, because you're not there. We all have to recognize our shortcomings in order to make the journey. Well, you have to recognize your shortcoming so you can complete the journey. Your shortcomings are emotional aptitude, and the way we have seen you dance, they are physical aptitude. I don't have that either. So the point is that, and I don't have your brain either, so the average Joe here. But the point is, you have a high cognitive aptitude, but very low on physical aptitude and emotional aptitude. You don't have those, I don't have those, but in order to keep your brain intact, you need to have a consultant of the common class, from the common class, of the common class, on a daily basis. The person could be your, you call him your emotional aptitude consultant. And preferably of the female persuasion, so you can, because women, between men and women have more emotional aptitude as well. So, who is a very, who does emotional aptitude goes to. If there was a cup of emotional aptitude, as if like to say people with highest emotional aptitude, black people are usually the winners. They have high emotional aptitudes. So I would suggest, or brown people. So I would suggest you need a secretary, assistant, who you can on the daily basis converse with, so you're a little more a little less prone to gaffes. Be in touch with the reality out there. I understand up there it's going at 1,000 miles an hour, and we are all thankful for that. But out here, you need a connection with the people. You need somebody like AOC as close consultant. Here's the thing: if you don't get on AOC side, or if you don't, have her on your side, she's the people. She's the real, people who, want to have not a big colony, but dignified society. Those are her people. They're looking for a dignified life, and they're not anti this, they're not anti that, they're not anti anything. They're all for dignified life. The white folks, the pink folks, the yellow folks, the black folks, the brown, they're all looking for a dignified life. So whether are we willing to, listen to what they need, what they think should be a dignified life? Because here's the thing, the masses, they didn't come up with this form of society. The geniuses have come up with this form of society that is, that has developed into in many places in the world, that has developed into a very a wide gap between the very haves and the very have-nots. And I understand about the capital allocation that you're saying, but you see, we don't want a big colony, as in like we have a flat land of workers and the queen, and there is like a big colony, and there is multiple bee colony. This is called Tesla bee colony, and that's called Amazon's bee colony, and that's called Chevron's bee colony. Every colony has its own queen, its own head, and it's like one is getting fed off all, and the whole concept within this beehive is just production, better production, greater production, but production. So you, in your view, that's a good thing. There are many cultures, many perspectives on Earth still that they are good where they are. They're not in a hurry, but they need to. But they still need to eat. And they think, because they're more intelligent than bees, they think that, no, we all should have some kind of a dignified life. Yes, we will build over time, but let's slow down, let's feed the poor, let's have everything running smoothly. We don't have to go to war to make money. Let's make sure that happens. So if you allow that to, if you understand that, in order to understand that, you need to have probably a Kanye or a female version of Kanye, real, projects kind of vibe to consult with on a daily basis, as in like, your right hand. So I would say a brown female of, project origins, or Puerto Rico origins. Puerto Rico is a kind of project. Uncle Sam has kept Puerto Rico on the side and has kept it as a form of, as a project. You guys don't get a say. You're an airport to us. So that kind of mentality is the kind of mentality you understand where the working people are, that they all feel they're in projects. And when you go over what the 30 years ago people thought of where we will be by now in terms of comfort without too much labor, that's where we saw ourselves. The comfort has to be more comfortable with less labor. That's the whole point of progress. More amenities with less labor. So where they saw themselves in year 2021 was that they all had a personal robot. So they're your thing. You're going that way. We understand and we love you for that. But you gotta have a consultant with a real project vibe every day. You gotta see them every day, because I'm thinking your line of work, you're dealing with a lot of people on a daily basis who are high in cognitive aptitude, but low in emotional aptitude. I can assure you that you're on a daily basis, you're in contact with these folks. We are talking about, the Big Bang Theory. Very, very intelligent people, but somehow, miss the train on emotional highway or emotional line. But the point is this. So what comes out of your mouth is a little, insulting to the labor, to the masses. As if sort of like you're telling them, deal with it. Fuck you. You have problem in your society. Yeah, you spend too much. Don't spend my money. At this point, you're basically telling the government how they should run their show, and the government doesn't much like that. So what you have to do is basically come to some sort of an understanding that yes, we also have masses, they also have dignity, and they also were thinking they already had robots, but no, they're not there, and okay, we are moving forward, but maybe they pick up a little, maybe you slow down a little, demanding, yeah, let's go, we gotta go. Okay, maybe you know something about the near future that we don't. So you're making a way out of the planet. But for whatever reason, we understand the whole idea behind, because consciousness has appeared on this planet at this time, we need to, separate it out into a few flames, so maybe one of these crazy motherfuckers make it. They're so aggressive and paranoid. So you want to put them in different multiple planets. Maybe one of the planets survives, so the light of consciousness of this, this project, humanity, would not go away. We understand all that, but I mean, you don't want to go the way of the Borg. The Borg, the thing about the Borg was that they regenerated. They didn't sleep. They didn't have any kind of fun. They didn't have any, they're working 24/7. And the way things were before the pandemic, the way things were, people had to work 10 hours a day, and whatever token that the system was giving them only feeds them and houses them. Sort of like, you only get this much token to feed and house yourself. The rest of these tokens we have to give to, have a moon project and have a Mars project. So you guys can eat less, so we can have a Mars project. It's a token. The whole idea is token that the government decides to distribute. Don't look at it as money. To look at it as token that the government is sitting over there. You have the masses who are right now feeling more useless by the day, because a lot of physical activity such as manufacturing has been taken away from them. So if we consider that people have physical aptitude, emotional aptitude, and cognitive aptitude, a lot of people with only physical aptitude or with high physical aptitude have no place in society anymore. Less and less places in the society, because most of the hard, really difficult jobs were given to robots, or repetitive jobs have been given to robots. So they are useless. Imagine you are born with a high cognitive ability. Imagine somebody is born with low cognitive ability but high physical aptitude and high emotional aptitude, but less cognitive aptitude. So they have become more and most useless in the society that has put aside emotions altogether. We don't need emotions, and the few Reichs showed us, the third one showed us recently, that if you put aside all emotional aptitude and you just go about the way as efficiently as possible to unite Europe, you need to hold it together with a military force. That is the idea of that people with very high cognitive aptitude, yes, it does make sense, the whole thing being together, but very low emotional aptitude, which yes, we can do it, we will force it together. So that's the Russian kind. It's like the whole idea of no emotional aptitudes, we will put an army down to hold it together. So you're from the northern hemisphere, people with high cognitive aptitude, but there are other hemispheres in this goddamn planet. There are places on this planet that emotional aptitude runs much higher than cognitive aptitude. There are some parts of this world that if physical aptitude had been up to recently have been in more demand, so people with very high physical activity were able to reproduce more. So we have different races on this planet. They are each one gifted with one of these aptitudes more: cognitive aptitude, emotional aptitude, and physical aptitude. Some races have more of this and some races have more of that. The better to you, but then you have to understand that not everybody can be anything similar to you. Yes, 12 hours a day you want to teach algebra. You can try to teach Shaq algebra 20 hours a day. Why? Do you understand what I'm saying? So if it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of everything. But having dunk a basketball on your head, it knocks you out. So the point is this, that okay, these were the guys who were in high demand up to recently in certain areas of this planet because of their harsh climate and because there was there was no need for high cognitive ability up to recently. There were more demand in the harsh climates of Africa that I don't know, very few civilizations were able to be put together. Physical activity was much more in demand than cognitive ability. So the races developed in a different way. Those with high physical activity survived up to recently. The same thing could be said for the Vikings. Vikings were, are known to be big motherfuckers because they kept killing each other, so paranoid and aggressive that they kept killing each other. So only the guys with the 15 cuts on their body and still alive were able to reproduce. So it's a planet you got. It's a planet that you got to work with. You can't, you can high Hitler this into some sort of great army or great beehive. So you got to get a sister, no hanky panky, just as a emotional aptitude assistant. End of story. And be proud of it. And be proud of it. And go everywhere and say, this is my emotional assistant woman. I'm talking with her on a daily basis. And tell everybody, no problem. I'm talking, whatever we hear on the daily basis, we hear together. me and this woman of good intention from project background, the beehive. You need a consult to have those people in the room every time you make a decision during the day. I would suggest this to all the CEOs. All the CEOs of all the corporations need to, because people who reach that stage of CEO in this capitalist format that you have put together, the people who reach the extremely high levels of industry of their time, they're all cognitive guys, cognitive aptitude guys. They're not emotional aptitude guys. There is no room for that specific concept in their function in the society, which is to make things better. So they've never had it. They were very distant with their emotional needs. So the result is that you reach the level you reached. Good for you, good for us, good for everybody. But you do need to recognize that you're missing. We can't do anything about your physical aptitude, Mr. Musk. It is what it is. So we've seen you dance. Could be better, but the point is this. So we can't do anything about that, or maybe it's not important to maybe if you have a body trainer, that means the body trainer is your physical aptitude assistant. Now, please get an emotional aptitude assistant, just like you get a body trainer. You have a body trainer. You need to have a publicly outed person from the masses, the labor, somebody like the AOC. AOC, in my view, AOC should be your best friend, because she's your messenger from the masses, the real messenger. And I mean, because of her experience because of her experience from the masses and her intelligence to bring this experience into words and into objective thoughts. Because she is that, she needs to be involved, or somebody like her, not AOC, ACD, BCF, doesn't matter. Preferably a sister, because they're also higher, with higher emotional intelligence than their male counterparts. So a sister, a black lady from the humble backgrounds in the empire, whether be it the mean streets of Bronx, or the mean streets of Harlem, or the mean streets of Puerto Rico, or that kind of mindset, or that kind of labor background. You, my friend, Elon Musk, because especially you need that as well. The fact that not it should be someone of high emotional intelligence. Not only that, but also it needs to have that experience of what it means to be having within your community, having people who are not recognized by the pink skins as even legitimate, having the right to live on this land or that land. They cannot be given their own identity, their own independence, because Uncle Sam doesn't think it's important. Or not Uncle Sam. I love Uncle Sam. It's like the managers of Uncle Sam have never seen to give this dignity, to give Puerto Rico the chance to be one of the voices. They weren't given the chance to sort of, no, you stay. Yeah, let's see if we can make the island white. Then maybe we think independent. As it is, no. So she's that voice. She's brown, and she's been, insulted and abused, and insulted and abused, and she's a voice for that insulted and abused. Not maybe not abused, but certainly insulted in their day, in many people's daily life. Questioned, insulted, under suspicion. It's all of that. The thing that says, "This is my land. You explain why you're here." And if you have an accent, or if your first language is not English, such as is in Puerto Rico, you have that daily experience that everybody is sort of like, the pink skins expect you, the brown skin, to have some kind of justification for your presence, period. Or else, why the fuck? Why? Tell me why you're here. How did you end up here? That's it is what it is. That is the experience for many. Even in their own countries, we are living in a world that you guys, it's being manipulated by wars and pressure here and pressure there, and who has got the bigger penis. This is the world, the planet you got to work with. So I would say you should have one assistant specifically with emotional intelligence, and you can have another assistant of such caliber if you can have her as a consultant to your foreign. It's like America is not the whole planet. It's a moon to the planet, but it's a moon to itself. But the rest of the planet also has ideas regarding emotional intelligence and how we can get along better. So you might want to have a Russian consultant of emotional intelligence. What does how does this translate into Russian? What this move that I make, how does it translate to Russian? You need to have a consultant in from the rest of Asia and Africa. So, dude, you are surrounded with a lot of people with a lot of cognitive intelligence. I understand that you don't value a squat emotional intelligence. I understand. I don't much either. But the point is this: you're in a position that if you don't understand emotional intelligence, there may be a revolution. You see what I'm saying? Marie Antoinette, the whole idea behind Marie Antoinette's story is that she was without emotional intelligence. That was because she had cut herself off. She didn't know what the fuck is going on in the streets. So, in short, Marie Antoinette lost her head because she didn't know what the fuck was going. She wasn't interested in knowing what the fuck was going on in the streets. Well, you shouldn't be the Marie Antoinette. You shouldn't be, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, the way she rose to power and the way she had the whole Democratic Party under her instead of over her. So, but she was a intelligent person, very intelligent person, because she spearheaded the some kind of national healthcare system, because it's your fucking tribe. If you're living in a tribe, you need to take care of fucking everybody in the tribe. But the owners at that time, they still wanted and still want to continue with the system of forcing people to servitude for very little money because the healthcare is good. Forcing people to sign agreements to work for very little money. That token that the government gives, that with that token you eat, that token that the government gives you or the system gives you. As I said, Mr. Elon Musk, not everybody is cognitively intelligent. And for people with a lot of physical intelligence but not cognitive intelligence, in an era where cognitive intelligence is in high demand but physical intelligence is not, we are in that era, and what they have to offer is not valuable comparatively, so they are where they are. Excuse me. The point is this: you need to have that experience in your office at all time. If you're working, she's working right next to you. Wherever you're going, she's going with you, right next to you. That kind of daily interaction, or online, I don't care. The point is, everything that you hear, she needs to hear, so she would be your right-hand assistant in viewing matter, in being the voice in your ear, that how do these fucking bees feel about that. You see somebody, Marie Antoinette, having somebody in the street to tell her what the fuck is going on. And somebody, and you actually have to have this voice present in the room with you, to whatever you hear in the media, she can translate to you in what it means with the beehive, and how this what the media is showing you is not, there was this, for example, talk that in Friends, apparently everybody, for Friends as a show theater for how life is in New York City, the show Friends was known that, it's showing people who apparently don't work. They have a life, but it seems they're doing fine with not working or being between jobs in New York City, and still have the kind of life they were having. It's not possible. And now it comes out that Sex and the City was another show that it wasn't logical the way the women were supposed to aspire to live in a city, spend the way the girls in Sex and the City spent, and with what income? With $37,000 income. So my point is this, that they have been putting out a show that this is life, but none of these motherfuckers have ever lived that life. They're working 2 jobs. Up to the start of the pandemic, they were working 2 jobs and still were living like Soviet Union. They were working 2 jobs, and their living standards have turned into the Soviet Union living standards. Once upon a time, capitalism was advertised as the opposite of Soviet Union, in which a lot of people have a little, eat a little. Now it has, become very few have a lot. A lot of people have very little. Very little. Very little means what? Very little means having a dignified life, having access to amenities that life has to offer. That's how much little we mean. Having healthcare. The whole system here, the rich system, for up to quite recently, allowing affordable health care to the people of your tribe was not a necessity. If you want healthcare, you work with for one of the big boys, one of the queens in the hive, corporations. If you work for one of those queen of hives, then the queen may give you healthcare, but you have to work like a bee. If you can feed the queen enough, then the queen may. But it's sort of like they were slaves to their healthcare. Healthcare was another link in the chain of keeping people enslaved, because there was great healthcare given by Chevron, and because it's a big corporation, has a big penis, and so if they give you a good healthcare system, that means they will try to keep you alive longer. So the point is this, that they have made that as a link in a chain of servitude. They have kept that up to recently. So hats off to Hillary Clinton that she was, the person with the balls to try to solve that issue years ago. So she has a lot of cognitive abilities. But unfortunately, emotional aptitude she lacked. Again, not everybody who gets a lot of one necessarily gets a lot of the other one. It's sort of like you can think of it as 30%, 30%, 30%. You have 30% emotional aptitude, 30% cognitive aptitude, and 30% physical aptitude. These are not equally divided by all people, by all races even. And who wants that? I mean, you want to see somebody dance good, so you need the guy with the rhythm who can dance well. So play basketball well. You want that guy, but you're paying a lot to a very few of them who are running for you in these sports. You're paying a lot to a few of them, but the rest of them are, up to their eyeballs in debt to the system. Well, the system that you design is not giving them enough tokens to eat, to have a dignified life. Are you okay with that? This is my point. So if you're not okay with that, if you don't want to live in Borg, and that's the thing about your Neuralink, we are going the Borg way. You do have a beehive mentality that, what the hell you people want? Yes, we know. Here's the thing, Mr. Musk. Uncle Sam, those people who have been managing for Uncle Sam, they have gone to a few wars, unnecessary wars, that, they probably could have pulled it off a lot better with a commando action. If they really, the objective was, if the objective was Bin Laden, they could have done it with commando action, which they eventually did. It's like you don't need to buy a whole country in order to find one person. Seriously. It just doesn't make sense, and George W. Bush was able to sell it. No, we invade two countries for the price of one. So I'm sorry to say this, so the money that you are, the money that you think that you're paying in taxes, yes, you're right. I agree with you totally. We agree with you totally. Why is it the government can just go ahead and, why is it the government has a monopoly on violence? And why is it the government has been relegated the war power, starting killing others, no, not even killing, starting producing arms. These arms have to be used. They keep building and making arms and better arms. So who are they? They're not making them for the Martians. They're hiding. I have a feeling the Martians are hiding behind Mars. It's sort of like, no, it's better for us not to show ourselves to these motherfuckers. They're gonna start shooting, because this is who we are. This is who is in charge. This is Mr. Musk. Here's the problem. This is who is in charge. This is who is in charge. People who are, like you, very cognitive, very calculating, how much less we can get, how much less tokens we can allow to be given to the beehives, how much nutrition can be distributed between the bees, the workers, and you're going that way, and you sounded that way the last time I heard you, dude. You gotta get consulted, and the women that you have been with. The Canadian ones, the last one was an improvement. The Canadians are much more emotionally intelligent as a group, more better educated in general, but still very white. Okay, nobody said get a black girlfriend. The point is get an emotional aptitude assistant who is brown or black and from humble, no special case golf course heiress. No, because she hasn't, been anywhere near the project. She doesn't want to associate with the projects. She's too good for the projects, where 80% of her people have been living for the past 100 years. That condensed rice, or what? Condensed rice. It is. She didn't even want to associate herself with her race. You don't want that voice in the room. That's the kind of voice George W. Bush had kept in the room from the black people. Somebody who didn't want to associate with the black people. She never wore her hair as usually black people do. It's sort of like you don't want that either. That's having a wrong voice in the room. You need to have a very intelligent voice from the ghetto in the room. Probably female, because here's the thing: Oprah was from very humble beginnings, and she is, based on her emotional intelligence, was able to be Oprah. High work ethics and all of that, and very intelligent all on her own. But the ace in the hole for Oprah was her high emotional intelligence, very high emotional intelligence. So there were a lot of, what I'm trying to say is there were a lot of talk shows, and there are a lot of talk shows, but Oprah could pass a very high emotional intelligence bar, so she was who she became. But my point is this: so somebody like AOC, somebody like Oprah, it doesn't have to involve any kind of relationship. It can be completely professional, but you would be basically next door, living next door to each other. You get up, the moment you start working, she starts working. Clocks in, follows you. And the point is hearing what you hear, wanting to hear what you have to say, and give you the prospect of what would what would happen in the streets as a result of this, what would happen in the street as a result of this decision, what would happen in the streets as a result of that decision. Somebody from the people, the bottom of the pyramid. Don't be a Hillary Clinton who crashed and burned, although she was very qualified. But again, the qualified, the kind that a lot of cognitive intelligence, no emotional intelligence, zero. And people don't want to admit to that. They think, no, I am the best of everything. I am the best of physical intelligence, I am the best at emotional intelligence, and I am the best at cognitive intelligence. Everybody thinks they're the best of it. They're 100%. No, we are not. You haven't been able to tell. Some people can think a little better. Some people can run a little better. That doesn't mean the guy who's running can do whatever the guy who's thinking is doing, and it doesn't mean the guy who's a thinker can do what the fucking runner can do. So why is it difficult for us to say that, yeah, we agree, some people, because somehow we think that yes, the difference in physical intelligence is obvious, although until they had the Negro League, that means they didn't want to admit that there is a difference in physical intelligence. They have more of it. You have less of physical intelligence, the pink skin races. But so what? This one has this intelligence, one has that intelligence, and some people have no emotional intelligence. Zero. I mean, Big Bang Theory, that show was the whole poster of the show was people with, difficult, not very gifted with emotional intelligence, and that was the funny part. But somebody of your stature, when is disconnected with his emotional intelligence part, which you seem to be, again, not a problem. You have lots of cognitive aptitude, which is, good for you. But you need a consultant as an emotional support assistant, because you're lacking that. And have conversation with her or him. Probably her. I would say her is better, because women are much more, in touch with their emotions than men are, and they're in touch with the emotions of the society that they are from, that they still have contact with, that hopefully they're intelligent enough to want to have contact with. Not like Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice did not have the intelligence to be in contact with her roots, stay in contact with her roots. Michelle is the good example of how to do it. It's like keep in touch with the roots. But she wasn't the president. She probably could not, run for the president. Because, I guess, the point is this. You need Michelle Obama. Yeah, you probably could consult her more. But she can't follow you on a daily basis. I would suggest, so do consult these emotionally intelligent black leaders who have come from very humble beginnings, and they still are in touch with their humble beginnings and want to be and they're proud of their humble beginnings, and they're still in touch with people from those beginnings. You want these people around to give you the right voice from the beehive, to be their voice in your head, so you wouldn't crash and burn like Hillary Clinton and then have to go walk it off in the forest. She had no idea how, no emotional intelligence. Neither does Trump, but he went the opposite way. It's like he could fake emotional intelligence. He had heard enough in his life that he could fake emotional intelligence. He's basically ironclad forcing his family together with the ironclad, non-disclosure law signature. He's got everybody ironclad. It's like with his team of lawyers, everything is, ironclad. He's running his household as if, in a very efficient German manner. If by force, if we have to. But so, don't be that way. Don't be that way. Get a true voice from the ghetto. Omarosa. Omarosa was his voice from the ghetto, but then he was faking it. He wanted to know what's going on, what's the voice in his head from the ghetto, but then when he did reach the where he wanted to reach, with executive privilege, where he wanted to reach, he had at least got a feedback from people like Omarosa that he tried to stay in touch with for a long time until he got in and then kicked her out. But the point is this, such a voice, I'm not saying she was good or bad, I'm just saying that there was this relationship. At one point Mr. Trump decided to cut the relationship. Okay, I got what I wanted, have a nice day. But the point is this, not that kind of, you don't want that kind of relationship. You want a true sister in there, and with emotional intelligence, proud of her roots, wanting to be with her roots, keeping in touch with her roots. In your head, you want that voice in your head, so why just get an assistant, emotional intelligent assistant, and talk with her as much as you talk on a daily basis with a bunch of, cognitively gifted men, usually men, and, do what you do, good for all of us, thank you very much. As much as you consult with them, you gotta, let this person who's your emotional assistant hear what you have to hear, and after you hear what you have to hear, you can look to her and find out what she thinks before you can form an opinion. An opinion that is both progressive and also, the beehive. What is the voice from the streets? Because we need to live in the streets. We need to, not everybody can go, inside a gated community. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody can go inside the gated community. And we all have to live on these streets. And you guys, at one point or other, you separate yourself from the average man, and that's exactly what happens when you start big wars and big disturbances, because the people in charge are, not very competent because not very emotionally intelligent, and they started going to war with each other all through the history of Earth. And we are seeing another one of these ugly instances coming up between these powers, at least these nuclear powers. This has happened many times on planet Earth. We want to pass that bar, so we don't annihilate each other. There must be emotional intelligence presence in every boardroom. That's one of the reasons that one of these Scandinavian countries have decided to say, okay, 50% of the boardroom has to be women. Now these motherfucking women are going to be battle axes usually, and they're not going to be even females with high emotional intelligence. They're going to be man-eaters, but still some. There's many women have more emotional intelligence than men. So there is a chance that there are a few, at least, women in there with some kind of emotional intelligence, who doesn't keep these aggressive men in line. So we can live in this planet somehow. And so far, I mean, they have disturbed the Middle East. You said where your money is going in taxes. Yes, I agree with you. The government has a monopoly on violence, and they have relegated their even the representative of people. First of all, everybody has to be a vote of everybody. Whether if everybody agrees, we go to war. There should be a voice from. Don't you say democracy? I'm sorry, democracy until it comes to war, and then if there is going to be a war, then we have a king. The war power is king power. It's sort of like we relegate our people, the tribes, right to determine war or not. We don't put that to a vote for all people. By the way, military draft is a good idea. Let's have a big incompetent army. It is better than a small efficient army. Why? Because then the society gets to keep together. You see, when there are people who work really fast and are stuck with people who work very slow, they do understand there is also slow in this world. You see, that's again another point to the fact that you need a emotionally intelligent assistance, because when all day long you're talking to people with high cognitive intelligence and very low emotional intelligence, that becomes your norm. That becomes your norm. You start looking at life as just a bunch of numbers, real numbers. In your case, with your intelligence, real numbers really make sense. Everything you say, perfect. A lot of things you say are very interesting, and we all love those facts. But you do, in order to survive, in order to not crash and burn like Hillary Clinton, you need a real emotionally intelligent person from the projects or similar to project, with that experience of not male, not white, not rich, that experience. That humble beginning needs to be in the room with you at all times. If you are to not crash and burn, and if you are to thrive, you need the masses behind you. And hopefully the system, this fucking system, hopefully the system, but the masses, you cannot lose the masses, because if you lose the masses, the fascists are going to get the masses. You see, here's the thing: the highway between socialism and fascism. Fascism is when the politicians and the industrialists get together and smack down hard on the populace. That's fascism. Internally and externally, every time we had fascism anywhere in this planet, in this recent history, past history, when such situation, high difference in income levels from around in within the society came about, and there was a beehive and the queen and the bees, the situation came, that gap of in living standards, it resulted in some kind of a destructive end it ended in a very destructive manner, because the whole idea got into how can we do things more efficiently, forward, 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 march. That's how it happened. Difference in living standards, difference in life experiences, and those who money does not matter versus those who money, not enough money to have a place to live, like people in California living in their cars, not enough places to go to doctor to, because apparently we can't enough, apparently the number one country in the world cannot produce enough doctors, so there's or enough health care, so a lot of the people in the tribe don't get to have access to health care. Hey, I mean, 5,000 years ago, if there was a tribe, and if you were a member of a tribe, the shaman of the tribe had the social responsibility to see you at free cost to you, because he's the shaman. You already give some of your income as taxes to the shaman. You go hunting, you come back, and shaman who wasn't hunting and was playing with his thing, he would also get a piece of the hunt. Although he didn't hunt, he was the shaman. So the point is this: even 5,000 years ago, they have figured out that everybody in the tribe gets to see the shaman at no cost, because when we go hunting and he doesn't come, we already are paying him. But the point is this: they have figured out that everybody in the tribe needs some kind of health care, some kind of, somebody go to. And up to recently, the managers of Uncle Sam didn't recognize that. They said, no, we are not responsible. Go find one of those, beehives, become a member of that beehive, GM, Ford, Tesla, be a member of that beehive if you want health care. We, the government, we the people who are running this tribe, we are not responsible for your health care. Go see somebody else. Go see GM. Okay, fine. Then where the hell these taxes are going? Oh, they're going into wars. I mean, you go to war to a country for one guy, and maybe a couple of hundred people around him. You want to take over a whole shithole for a guy? How ridiculous! For a guy, which at the end they got him through a commando action. They couldn't do what they did in Obama's time. Wait. Okay, yes, you did us bad. Okay, we are going to put up more security guards around ourselves, but we're gonna find you. And it took 10 years, 20 years, whatever, took until they found bin Laden. Couldn't, you search for him in the sophisticated methods that you have, with a few platoons of special forces, exactly the way you at the end you ended up doing in Pakistan. That's, hey, we know this guy is here, we're going to do commando action with very low casualties in a specific area, and you tell the Taliban that in that area you can't come, don't come in that area, we think this motherfucker is in that area, the rest we don't want to deal with the rest of the fucking shit hole. We only want this area. Don't touch this area. We're going to send special forces. If you come near, we're gonna eliminate you. You don't have to take over the whole fucking country. That's the whole thing, Mr. Musk. What you said, government has sole ownership of violence. Yes, and that's the problem. This is what happens, and the government also has given that privilege to one man at the top, or maybe in consulting with his vice president. The two of them made a decision or wanted to make this decision, because at the end of the day, the job goes to one man. Yes, the vice president has a say in that room, a big say in that room, especially the room that Average George was in. But at the end of the day, it was Average Joe's signature. And Average Joe apparently was beneficial to him. I'm not sure how he came into a conclusion that yes, we need to go to war. Let's fuck him up. Let's go to take over the whole shithole to teach them a lesson. To find that one guy. Let's go take a shithole and to find that one guy, and then go take over the shithole next door. To also, we need to be in control. Well, control costs money. Why do you need why there's a need to have such control over them, the other side of the planet? Again, we are thankful to you, Mr. Musk, that you're showing them to the skies and telling them that okay, you want to make money, you need to make profit. Why don't you at least go up, make your profit in some other planet that is not habitable by other sentient species like yourself. So the point is, please, Mr. Musk, you need to get an emotionally intelligent assistant, and specifically as the job title of emotional intelligence assistant. Probably would be better if she's a sister from projects with that experience and proud experience, still in touch with many people, proudly still in touch with many people from that ghetto experience. That you need that voice in the room, or else you're gonna crash and burn as did Hillary Clinton. We love Uncle Sam.